What's up, everyone? Welcome to today's video. Welcome to the Video Game Fight School channel. Thank you very much for tuning in. I'm going to be looking at a lot of comments in this window. I want to hear what my fellow Xbox players think. I also want to hear what my fellow PlayStation players think. This is going to be very interesting. However, I'm seeing a lot of the PlayStation comments show up first. Many of the, PlayStation fans, I don't think are too enthused about the news, and I'm seeing a lot of downplaying and what I think is just the consistent miscalculation on how they missed the entire memo, and you're going to see some really strange stuff as we walk through it. An audience member of mine put a question there, or I guess it's a comment, and said, okay, so I guess you're going to ignore the fact that this year Sony and PlayStation said this generation is the most profitable in history of Sony, that the PlayStation 5 has been profitable for the longest time. They broke down the numbers and showed everybody. I don't know where they broke down those numbers, but you saying that the PS5 has been profitable for the longest time is probably based on this article that Matthew Humphreys wrote, where they said Sony says the $499 PS5 no longer sells at a loss. This does not say the $499 PS5 now sells at a profit, because there are three phases of a product sales. There's a loss phase if they're not making a profit, there's break even, and then there's also the profit phase. We have not heard them say that this particular console is profitable. If anything, they've backed away from it. We haven't heard anything about it. Now, if you go a little bit further down, because I'm sure you were talking about these numbers, you'll see that there's something quite interesting. It's buried in paragraph number 2. As Bloomberg reports, Sony made the announcement alongside raising its financial year profit forecast. However, there's still some work to do to make the cheaper $399 digital edition of the PS5 profitable. Right now, Sony says any loss made on that console is being offset through peripherals and continued sales of the PS4 console. So at the time, the $399 digital edition PS5 was still being sold at a loss. Remember, they also reduced the forecast of the number of PS5 consoles that they were going to sell, which then lost them a $10 billion valuation. Do you remember that? I do. It's not just revenue, but profits. Oh, well, if it's about profits, it seems like Xbox, being on the side where they've been spending very little on their gaming, all this while has been more profitable. Now, I said it seems, but this is what analysts have reported for the most part. Xbox, on the other hand, have never shown profit numbers. Sure, they'll show percentages, and we all know they're only making revenue because of Activision Blizzard King. Actually, their revenue was up by 9% without Activision Blizzard King this particular financial year. If you go look at the most recent numbers that they just put out. If you break it down, Xbox is only seeing 8% increase, which is decent. It's good. 8% of a $1 trillion company valuation. That's actually good. I'm not saying like it's great, but they are seeing profits in that, gaming scene, especially when their consoles are not selling as much. It's quite impressive overall. Not only that, they said they're going to expect a lot of loss next year with these numbers. When did they say that? It seems like, my fellow PlayStation fans, you're just pulling stuff out of thin air. Like you're like a freaking student that just graduated Hogwarts. Like you just take a wand and you want to wave some statistic magic spell around and throw everything. The console sales are down for Xbox. After they put out AAA exclusives, Xbox is in huge trouble. Their platform is dying and cannot be ignored. It's facts. No, what you're ignoring is the fact that their platform is not dependent on the console. So sit and please listen to PlayStation explain it to all of us, okay? So when they were about to acquire Activision, PlayStation put together some kind of, and this is to me, I just think like a war game type analysis or whatever it is, what's going on. Industry major shifts and threats. Microsoft's comprehensive ecosystem coupled with exclusivity creates greater dominance. They said this: Microsoft can supply multi-game subscription, 50%. Console games, 50%. PC, 60%. So you saying this about the Xbox is not paying attention to the reality that the Xbox is not the main piece anymore. It's now one piece. They've looked and said, let's go ahead and find a way to hedge ourselves where we're not able to sell as many consoles as our competitor or competitors. We'll find another place to deliver software. PC had been the obvious one. They've been doing it since 2016. Then subscription came in with Game Pass, and they're able to still deliver games there. So they've made up for the loss in consoles. PlayStation, on the other hand, stays on the box and then eventually moves to PC. Well, they were until just recently, when they've launched basically right now 2 games day one as live service games, and then 1 remake day one, and are coming with the Horizon Lego game day one. They are also looking at that potential because their players are stuck in Call of Duty. PlayStation players are stuck in the Call of Duty loop, raising the sales on PlayStation and Steam by 60% from what they normally do. I don't know where y'all are getting this stuff from, but I really encourage you that you unplug from a lot of this podcast, whatever, and actually go read articles and read financial statements and read statistics of games that are being played on PlayStation platform, on Xbox, and see what the picture actually is. Don't even bother watching my videos, because again, I think what's going on is a lot of people are so used to consuming this breakdown digestible content that they miss out on what the real picture is. They're not doing their due diligence to actually understand what's going on. This is why they'll be pulling stuff out of their the thin air, just thinking that it's actually reality. No. PlayStation's been left in the dust. PlayStation themselves said it, that they were in a position where they were leapfrogged over because of the comprehensive ecosystem that Microsoft had put together with Xbox, Game Pass, PC. Then they even highlight, in addition here, Microsoft is building a mobile game store to compete with Apple and Google. Hence, with the Epic Games versus Google injunction, where the judges said Google needed to open that Apple store, need to open that Play Store, Xbox is now going into that space and taking its Game Pass with it, and it's going to pretty much allow for those who have Game Pass Ultimate to be able to enjoy that benefit. This is something that PlayStation does not have. They have not built a comprehensive ecosystem. They've been sleeping because everybody else was wanting to do money-hatting business with them. But as Call of Duty continued to remain in their faces, these money-hatted games did not sell well on the 60 million console platform. Final Fantasy 16 was selling 3 million copies. Freaking Stellar Blade, around 1 million, when there are 60 million consoles apparently sold. So something is a bit off somewhere. It's either these consoles are not playing these games, or it's either these consoles are sitting in, according to the, this is a tinfoil hat one. They're sitting in somebody's basement after having been scalped in 2020 and nobody has bought them, and they've basically cut their credit card and run away. You have to really think about this from a multifaceted way. And I think you're probably going to see exactly where the picture has gone bleak for PlayStation in this time. There's work for them to do. Yes, Activision King was bought as a money printer. That's exactly what it was. That's why they freaked out. That's why they knew. That's why Jim Ryan said that if Xbox were to get PlayStation and was to get Activision and give PlayStation, a lesser quality version of the game, which is pretty much what they're getting now. It's the same game. That's what the lesser quality is. That's, it's just corporate speak, because the PlayStation version of Call of Duty used to have, the best maps, the free XP, all this, but now it just has the same version. That's a lesser quality for them. That their business was in jeopardy. He knew exactly what he was talking about. Why? He was the CEO of PlayStation. He knew what he was seeing. So sure, it may be their most profitable year that they said on paper, but man, they were wiped out by investors who punished them for pretty much coming back to say, oh no, we're not going to be able to sell much. But I digress. Let me hear your thoughts in the comment section. Thanks so much for watching the video. Appreciate you guys so much. Peace out.